Hello people, this is Power here to review the Kamen Rider Zi-O DX Neo DecaDriver. So this is obviously the re-release, not really. This is the new rendition of the DecaDriver that Tsukasa gains in Zi-O, which obviously just allows him to transform into Heisei Phase 2 riders and such. We don't have the box because of a later review. Anyways, here we have the contents of the product. We have 4 pieces for the DecaDriver, Neo DecaDriver, and we have 50 cards, 50 Kamen Rider cards, which obviously or the gimmick for Decade and such. And yeah, so let's look at the basicisms of the DecaDriver. So obviously, because the DecaDriver is a toy from 2009, it has its 2009 specifications. So the biggest thing is that for some reason they didn't bother making this detachable. The only way to remove this is by unscrewing all of this and such, but honestly it's kind of annoying. But I kind of wish they would have just fixed it, but I get that it was just cheaper to keep it like this. Anyways, I do like the texturing on the belt and such. And obviously, like, these belt straps are a lot smaller, because obviously, you know, these were actually meant for children back in 2009. We got a black base for the DecaDriver, Decade up there. And one of the biggest differences, I don't think this was black initially. I think it was gray initially, but the Neo version is black. And as you can see here, we got these are definitely pink circles. Obviously, as originally this was like red, green, or blue, or some other way, but now it's just all pink. The mechanism still works like so. Pretty clicky, which is pretty neat, and I really do like the texturing inside. And back there, just all of this. Speaking of the belt strap, here's the other loop. That's, you know, the standard, although it's pretty thin for the most part. And then here's the belt loop. I don't personally know which way it's supposed to be. I don't know if it's supposed to be up or down. It feels wrong being down, but at the same time though, up doesn't seem right. So for this video, I'll do it up. In the demo, I have it upside down. And then, last but not least, we got the core of the DecaDriver itself with the camera iris itself. As you can see, the camera there. And then, obviously, this is the biggest difference of the original version. Obviously, because instead of having the 9 rider symbols of Heisei Phase 1, we now have Heisei Phase 2 on this side. And now it's 4 per a side. Oh, I mean, this is 8. But I really do like how they managed to cram everyone in and such. Obviously, excluding Decade and Zi-O themselves. I think this is still green from the original DecaDriver. This is still black. Obviously, this is clear plastic with dust. I don't know how this collects dust. And then, obviously, this is the thing that's going to carry all the electronics. So you just insert 2 AAA batteries on each slot. And then this is a button for later stuff. I mean, it's just a release button. Speaker down here, and on-off switch like so. So when we assemble the DecaDriver together, again, they want you to open it like this, so then you can clip it in like so, and then close it in. But again, you can just simply click it in like so. And like, you know, this mechanism is pretty neat. Obviously with this thing loaded, it's a lot more heavier. And then, as you can see from this empty slot right here, I don't know if you're supposed to press these in or you just simply slot it in. I do both. Like, basically, like, I like the click, but at the same time, you can just simply do that if you don't want to hear that click. And then simply just slide the belt loop, the back cover like so, and then you want to loop these back, or clip those in, and then simply slide the back to these two stoppers, I guess I'll call them. Yeah, this is how I show. And yeah, yeah, see, this seems wrong. Anyways, so here we have the full look of the DecaDriver, buckled up and such. And note that you cannot use extenders on these, or it's like the new kind of extenders. I don't know if there's extenders after double, because I'm pretty sure double has the same strap style. But you know, it still keeps the form of the DecaDriver, obviously, because it's just a simple repaint. But obviously, because I don't own the original DecaDriver, I think this is pretty neat overall. You know, it's just nice to have a it's just nice to have a Heisei Phase 1 belt in some form. And I apologize for all the dust and such that's on this thing, but you know, basically I guess for a kid, they just simply unlatch this and clip it to themselves and such. This does not fit at all, obviously. But yeah, that's kind of it for the most part. As that turns itself on, that was too early. So let's take a look at the ride cards. So here we have the 50 ride cards and such. So we will take a look at them one by one. Obviously, we will only look at one specifically for its specifications. So obviously, Decade was the third Heisei Phase 1 series to use cards, but the second one to use barcodes after Blade. Obviously, because of the fact these were Gamba ride cards. But overall, the design of them is pretty cool because obviously they really rely heavy on the barcode aspect, and obviously some of these are here obviously because these were originally stat cards. These were originally where the stats were. This is where the original like numbering was, and obviously this was all in Japanese originally. I don't know if this was anything either, but we got the barcode like so. We got the rider, obviously because he's a Phase 1 Heisei Rider, it's Masked Rider, and this is a Kamen Rider card, especially as you can tell that this is pink. And then the back, we get Kamen Rider, Masked Rider, Decade, and then we get Decade's Rider symbol, and this is the same barcode, front and back, and such. And obviously the biggest thing that they've been doing since the Super Best DecaDriver is that the cards are now full-on plastic. And such. Obviously, don't flick it that hard, but so, for example, just because I have it here, so obviously originally the cards were like, you know, this cardboard and such, which obviously when you use them within the devices, obviously they wear out and such. So obviously to combat, you know, wear and tear, they were able to make the cards full on plastic, which is really resourceful. I really wish Decker did this for its entire toy line, because then maybe I would have bought into it. But nonetheless, like yeah, I'm doing way too much of this thing, but like, you know, it makes the flicking, or it makes the flipping a lot more easier and such, just because the bend, it really helps. And, you know, obviously it can, yeah, it can go through a lot more, but like you can just see like all the wear this has gained and such, so I don't recommend doing that at all. And obviously these barcodes don't do anything, just because I don't think they ever did, because obviously these cards are not made to be used as like for gambarizing or anything gambarider like that. Anyways, let's power through the next 49. So here we got Kuga, Agito. I'm not going fast enough. Ryuki, Fies. Come on, focus. I don't want this to make it just like the demo. Blade, Hibiki, Kabuto, Deno, sword form, Kiva, and yeah. I don't know why I specified sword form specifically for Deno, because then I should have specified mighty form, ground form, ace form, and rider form. But yeah, so these are obviously the 10 Kamen Rider cards that, you know, are always included within the DecaDriver. However, the difference between these ones and the ones that are in the Super Best / the version 20 is that these ones are actually like screen accurate and such, because for some reason the Super Best, well, I mean the Super Best one kind of made sense, but the version 20, just because it is a release of the Super Best, they still have all the stats in like Gambaride-esque specifications on the cards, which obviously doesn't make them accurate, and just ends up, you know, they're just plastic versions of Gambaride cards. However, this next latter half is actually new. So here we got double Cyclone Joker, and O's Tataba combo. Really do like how they obviously try to match up the style for his base states. Wizard Flame style, Gaim Orange Arms, Drive type Speed, Ghost Ore Damashi, X8 Action Gamer level 2, Build Rabbit Tank form, then Zi-O. So those are our 20 Kamen Rider cards. Now next up, we got the Final Attack Ride cards, to which these ones, no, this one in particular is in the Super Best / version 20. Again, in the Gambarizing specifications. As you can tell, the clear difference between the Final Attack Ride, or like a final card, is that it's yellow, which is a pretty interesting choice. And I really do like the design of the Final Attack Rides, because it's just the rider symbol and this background. Again, it's yellow. I just personally think the Final Attack Ride cards stand out a lot more compared to the Kamen Rider cards. Obviously, the naming scheme is still the same. So, we'll probably just power through the rest of these. Just because they're all the same. And also because we're spending way too much time on this. So, Kuga, Agito, Ryuki, Faiz, Blade, Hibiki, Kabuto, Deno, Kiba, Double, O's, Fours, Wizard, Dime, Drive, Ghost, Xaid, Build, and Geo. Obviously, I should probably specify it ever since. Obviously, with Double, with Phase 2, all of the riders are called Kamen Rider. Jeez. We're taking way too long on this thing. But, anyways, this last batch, my childhood, Final Attack Ride cards. So, obviously, these cards were originally released with the corresponding figures, and the rest of these were released in the Super Best / version 20 with their Gamba Rising specifications and such. But yeah, here we have Kuga Goram. This one was always lovely. I always liked this one. Agito Tornador. It's always interesting that Agito, they always just had him with the dragon horns. I always forget what they're called. Obviously, these are because this is a final card. Final Kamen Rider. Not a final Kamen Rider, but like a final card. This is obviously still in yellow. Ryuki Drag Rider. This one was always cool. Faiz Blaster. I'm not too big on this one. The figure was interesting though. Blade. I loved this gimmick so much back then. It was like I really loved this so much. And like Hibiki Ongekiko, this one was cool. Hibiki was a triple changer. Zector Kabuto. I don't think it was as cool as like Ryuki Drag Rider, but Momotaros, you know, pretty unique. And then last but not least, Kiva Arrow. Again, kind of in the same line as Faiz Blaster. Sadly, we don't get after this one. This one is also new. This one's also technically exclusive to this, but we got the DecaDriver from the movie. But we sadly don't get doubles. I understand why, just because I know it would have been an uneven number, but it would have been cool to at least get doubles. And it would have been cool just to see Final Form Ride cards for O. Well, O's is technically an SIC, but like, I mean, like an actual, like a non-SIC version of O's through Geo. Because I really would have liked what they would have done. But regardless, let's use all these cards within the DecaDriver. Alright, so obviously this is not going to be easy to frame, and like obviously most people are just going to be like, well, why don't you just have it in the bucket then? Because then you're going to have to see the driver like this, and I need to aim the driver up to the camera, not like, it's going to be like here, and I need it to be here. Anyways, on and off switch down here. Red LED. Opening. Closing. Obviously, you can't really do much. Obviously, how this works is just off the switch. So basically, when you hold it down, that's when it's opened. And then when you close it, nope. So there's this here. So basically, when that's not pressed down, that's opened. But when it's held down, that's closed. So obviously to transfer into Decades, simply take the ride card, flip it to the rider symbol. I don't know why I can't say symbol. And then simply slot it into this slot of the DecaDriver. So obviously you get the standby until you close it up. And there we got the transformation for Decade. Obviously, the sound still remains, it's just that now he has a different driver. And overall, pretty neat. And obviously, we got the red LED and such. And now, obviously, there's a bunch of things to bring up. Like the fact you don't need to have it at the rider symbol, obviously. Just simply, as long as it reads this barcode. And basically, to show how this barcode works. So I think inside there's like a button and such to know that a card is being inserted. Because it will basically wait for the card to go through and tell you. Or I guess unless you just. I guess unless it just stays in. And then when you slot it down. And then. So no, that, you know, doesn't matter which way the card is being inserted and such. However, you could insert a card when it's closed. However, you get an error. And to get a traditional error, you just have to swipe the card in fast enough that it doesn't register it. Like so. I don't know why I couldn't do that in the demo. And then we're going to immediately just get Decade's cards out of the way. So, jumping to the final form, final attack ride card. So yeah, obviously that's still very similar to how it was done in the original version. However, the Neo version adds an explosion. Because basically, if you want how that sound was originally supposed to be, just use a Final Form Ride card. Even though this card is not for this belt. Yeah. So those are the basics of what we're going to go through within this toy. Kamen Ride, Final Attack Ride, and Form Ride for all the Phase 1. All the Phase 1 Heisei Kamen Riders. So, we're going to do this in a messy way. Because we'll obviously situate all the Kamen Ride cards. Because they're all unique. However, we will do the final form rides for, we'll do the final form rides for the main 10 Heisei or the Phase 1, the Heisei Phase 1 riders. And then we would do final attack rides for the Phase 2 Heisei riders because, you know, these all are the same thing. So, let's just stack this pile up already. And obviously we're going to vary these around so then this is actually, you know, not boring. So, here's Kuga. Jeez. And then, as you can tell from Kuga and from the rest of these, their transformations are actually extended due to Heisei Phase 2. So if we use Agito, actually, yeah. You can definitely tell that's a lot more extended than just the traditional, like, which it kind of sucks, if I have to admit, but, you know, at least gives this one something new. Because I really did like how the original one did shorten these transformation sounds. Because, like, you know, like, the original DecaDriver just kind of got to the point. And obviously, speaking of, like, how these match up with Heisei Phase 2...
Kamen Rider. 5 complete.
They add in the voices from each respective driver belt. Like, Blade.
Kamen Rider. Blade.
Because other than the turn-up, Blades is pretty close. Hibiki?
Kamen Rider. Hibiki.
Kabuto? Jeez.
Kamen Rider. Kabuto.
We just get the change beetle. Then Deno.
Kamen Rider. Zi-O.
Obviously, due to CSM, they were able to do that stuff. Last but not least, from this batch, Kiva.
Kamen Rider. Kiba.
I think that was also because of the CSM. Anyways, final form ride. We will do it in the order of release, if I remember.
Final form Rider. Kuga.
So obviously, I kind of wish they did something cool, but that's where CSM comes in, so... Kiva was next, right? The Kiva Arrow.
Final form Rider. Kiba.
Obviously, I think one of my gripes is that I kind of wish they didn't stick with the red LED because of the fact this is magenta. So the red LED just makes things a lot more harder to see. Yuki Drag Rider.
Final form Rider.
Blade, right? Blade. Jeez.
Final form Rider. Blade.
Fi's Blaster? I guess.
Final form Rider. 5.
Who's next? Because definitely not Deno. I think it's Agito Deno. We'll do Agito Tornado.
Final form Rider. Agito.
Then Tauros.
Final form Rider. Zi-O.
I seriously want to pick this toy line up someday. This figure line. Hibiki Ongekiko.
Final form Rider. Hibiki.
Sector Kabuto.
Final form Rider. Kabuto.
So yeah, those are all the final form rides. One of the most fun things out of Decade, as I constantly cannot shut up about. Anyways, our new Kamen Rider cards, so double, despite the... Surprisingly, they never made this one for Movie War.
Kamen Rider. Double.
Obviously, that one's pretty standard. O's.
Kamen Rider. O's.
Now, obviously, we got the Tataba transformation. Fours.
Kamen Rider. Forze.
Really like. I always liked Force's transformation. Wizard. This one actually happened.
Kamen Rider. Wizardo.
I just remember there's a reason why I'm gonna do the final attack rides for these ones specifically. But obviously keep in mind of the announcement of the rider. Gaim.
Kamen Rider. Gaimu.
I think this speaker could have been better. It's kind of a bit muffled. It's not like the transformations luckily are not as super compressed, but I think it could have been better.
Kamen
Drive.
Rider. Drive.
Ghost. This one also happened.
Kamen Rider. Gosto. Let's go. Go, 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 Gosto. Go, 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 go.
I think I brought it up because of this. It's like we just finished Ghost and now it won't leave me alone. X-Aid, Ghost is at the back.
Kamen Rider. Exit.
Like that actually sounds fine. The last, no, not the second to last one to actually happen.
Kamen Rider.
Happily.
Virgo. Hagane no Moon Salto. Rabbit Tank.
If only we actually got to see Sento transform this decade. And then, last but not least,
Kamen Rider. Zi-O. Kamen Rider.
so yeah. Let me grab Ghost and then we'll continue. Alright, so final form ride cards for double through drive. You're gonna notice something.
Final attack Rider. Double.
Let's just go through all of them first, or those 6 first. I won't do the explosions for the rest of these, so.
Final attack Rider.
I should just do the method I did in the demo, just like pulling it out and flipping.
Final attack Rider. Final attack Rider. Wizardo. Final attack Rider. Game.
And last but not least,
Live.
so Let's bring Drive back up because Drive's the most. It's the most obvious. So here's the Kamen Ride. Here's Final Attack Ride.
Final Attack Ride. Live.
So yeah, for Double Through Drive, they actually made him re-record the announcement for the Final Attack rides, and I mean, basically they made him re-record them because Double Through Drive were originally programmed in the original CSN DecaDriver, and these cards actually do work in that belt. However, again, with that belt, they actually, with like riders like O's, Wizard, and Gaim had simplified transformations to actually go in line with, you know, the other like Heisei riders and such. And it was really cool. Like, I understand that, like, you know, with some of these riders, like these four, that it was going to be difficult to do that. So I understand that they just eventually just decide just to carry out the transformations of these ones.
Final Attack Ride. Ghost.
So these ones are the same exact announcements as the other, well, actually.
Final Attack Ride. Exit.
I really don't like doing this because then it bends up the belt strap.
Final Attack Ride. Build.
Oops.
Final Attack Ride. Zi-O.
So yeah, interestingly, Zi-O also does have a different announcement for the Final Attack ride. I guess because this one was too deep. But yeah. Putting all the cards, stacking all the cards together now. I guess we will just, jeez, that's not good. Oh, gosh. But, let's just pile these up like so, but overall, my thoughts on the Neo DecaDriver is that this is a really nice DX upgrade of the DecaDriver, obviously, because the, you know, this one's like the actual, like, first proper upgrade of the DecaDriver that isn't just a re-release. Obviously, it's been, you know, been wanted to just, you know, for the DecaDriver to utilize the Phase 2 Heisei riders, even though it does kind of ruin some aspects of Decade, because obviously he's supposed to be the representation of all of the Phase 1 Heisei riders and not Phase 2, because that's Zi-O. But, you know, it's still neat to just see it, basically. Overall, the package is pretty neat. You get, again, 50 cards, 20 Kamen Ride, 20 Final Attack rides, and 10 Final Form rides. You know, the upgrades to the sound, the soundboard of the DecaDriver is pretty cool, because obviously, besides Decade, all 9 Heisei Phase 1 Kamen Riders have extended transformations, so it actually does make it different compared to like a DecaDriver, the original one. The Final Attack rides actually have an attack sound. It's not just, you know, what the Final Form ride cards eventually do. I kind of wish, I feel like the Final Form ride cards were kind of thrown into here, especially just because it does suck that Final Form ride cards were heavily underutilized. I understand because it's CG budget, but at the same time, it's just kind of like, you know, utilize it. I think my only nitpick with, like, again, with this magenta base is that, obviously when you do things too fast, the black will actually just rub on the base, which is not really great to deal with and such. And obviously, I should probably like digress. Don't display your DecaDriver with. Don't display it with the card, just because you have the possibility of like ruining the scanner. Also, this is a case for mine. For some reason, when you do this way too, like when you open and close it way too quickly, it'll reset. Like that. So just, you know, I don't really get that entire thing. But honestly, I think this is like a really perfect package overall. Of just like, you know, for someone that, you know, doesn't, like, for someone that, you know, has never owned a DecaDriver like me, and just hasn't been able to get their hands on an original one, or like actually want like show accurate cards, it's a really good set. But because of the fact it's really good, this is really difficult on picking up because of the fact this was a toy that really did well within Premium Bandai. So I think it had like 2 rounds and such. And this thing typically goes for, I mean, I'm going off of like 2019 prices. This thing goes for like $95 by itself, which is not worth it. You're better off trying to get this thing used and just hope that you get everything. Because I know for some reason some people get rid of some contents. I don't get it, but good luck trying to get this on its own at least. There is another option, but that's 2 videos away. I'll have to do this review, so this is power, and I'll leave you people. This is too long.